Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring Land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and especially movie and DC fans, how are you doing? Welcome to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Gabe, Gaitone Day, what's going on, people?
Well, it is Nick Kent here today, and we are ready to give you our spoiler review, discussion, whatever you want to call it. Now, I will say, at the end, when we give our grade, go to this timestamp right here and put on the video right now to get our grade. We will leave our grade spoiler-free. You'll just know what we thought about it. But before we get to all that, for all those hardcore fans that have already seen it, we got you. We're going to give you our review. Gabe, we're going to jump right into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's start off with the good. Can we do that? Let's start off with the good. I'll go ahead and start us off, okay? But I watched it last night. Gabe just saw it a few hours ago, but I thought a lot about this after I watched it. Let me say, I really, really loved the first one. Absolutely fantastic. A lot of faith in Patty Jenkins, all that kind of stuff. Gal Gadot. People say she's not the greatest actress. I think she's just fine. She has some cheesy moments. But I was not super excited for this one, probably because it got pushed back and got pushed back and got pushed back. But I remember a year ago, Patty Jenkins tweeting out something where she says, I want to give it to you guys right now. I'm so excited. It is amazing. That got me excited. That got me super excited. So what were some of the things I liked? I'm curious if you like these same things. There's three things that I really, really liked. Okay. One being Pedro Pascal. I thought this guy was fantastic.
Amazing.
Right. He was fantastic. I did not like his performance in about the first fourth of the film. And maybe it was because I didn't get used to his character. I will say it's a weird character. It's not my favorite character for this movie. It's not. But once I got used to the character, Pedro Pascal, he gave me everything he had and then some. This guy who's sullen, this guy who you don't see his face, this guy who is serious as the Mandalorian, he hammed it up. He did fantastic. He had that great frantic thing with his hair. He was fantastic. I love Pedro Pascal. I also loved, and I'm surprised about this because I just assumed it was going to be one of those things we're going to forget about, Kristen Wiig. Was she not fantastic as Barbara Minerva? And then Cheetah, we had Cheetah for like 13 seconds, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about that. But I thought she was fantastic, and I'm going to echo what I heard John Campea say yesterday after I watched the movie, where she did a great job of playing her typical, clumsy, like, oh, I'm kind of a nerdy girl that she's played many times. But then when she got dark, when she's kicking that guy who was messing around with her earlier, and she was ready to take him out, but then she was stopped. She went dark very, very well. And it made a lot of sense for someone to be so nice and so good and so dark because of the whole premise of the movie. All right. My third thing that I loved, and again, whole lot of spoilers, guys, whole lot of spoilers. I did not love Gal Gadot's performance. I liked it. I thought it was just as good as the first one, but I loved when she got vulnerable, when she was losing her powers. I thought she really, and the makeup and everything, it was fantastic. I thought she really sold that. And then when she had to say goodbye to Steve Trevor, I love that whole sequence when she was running away super fast and he was healing up and then she jumps in the air. That was my moment in this film. I did not have a moment going into that point. That was the moment of this film. That was my no man's land for the second one. I absolutely loved that. And of course, Steve Trevor, Chris Pine, the guy's fantastic. I guess that's four things I really liked. Those were the things I really, really liked. Gabe, what were some of the things that you loved?
I got to say, first and foremost, I'm going to disagree with you with Pedro Pascal. Pascal, I think he put on an acting clinic from beginning to end. Okay. And for me, it is such a departure from his character on The Mandalorian and other characters he's done where he's stoic. You got to remember, this is 1980s, 1984, where everything was over the top. He was doing an impression. I don't know if you remember, Crazy Eddie, insane. That's who he was, the TV infomercial guy. I loved it, bro. Look, I'm getting goosebumps like that. He nailed it. Great. When I tell you he nailed it. He was probably, in my opinion, the best actor in this film, hands down. Now, I know what you're going to say. That's because you like the villains, but you gave me a villain with a relatable backstory, okay? I loved how they did that. And how one doesn't just become a villain, all right? How did he get there? You know what I'm saying? He didn't just say, for whatever reason, I wanted this stone just to be evil, but everything he wished for, which was just what everybody else wishes for, riches, right? It comes at a price, right? And it's like a monkey's paw. Be careful what you wish for, kind of thing. So I love that arc of it. I would agree with you, Cheetah. Well, we got 13 seconds of her, but Cheetah's backstory as well was awesome. You know what I mean? I did not like Gal Gadot's performance in this film. Wow. Me personally,
even when she was super vulnerable, even when she was lying there against that wall in the White House, got her butt kicked and realized she has no answers.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, she was outacted by everyone. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like Pedro Pascal and Trevor. I didn't even know how Steve Trevor was. It was clever the way they did it. Yep. I was like, how did they bring him back from the dead? Okay, he wasn't really. It was like his spirit, but the guy was still.
Dude, all I gotta say is I'm a huge Quantum Leap fan, and I love seeing the Quantum Leap style of bringing him back.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And I'm like, okay. So even Steve Trevor, he had some cool lines in there. So he's looking at the garbage can. He's like, "That's just a trash can. It's not art." You know what I mean? Like the parachute. He did a great job. Her, I don't know, man. It was like they try to make her too vulnerable in this film. Does that make sense? Like even from the very beginning, I saw them building that where she's winning the competition. She falls off the horse, then she ends up cheating. You know what they did? It's a deconstruction of what Wonder Woman is, right? You know what I mean? She's supposed to be the toughest woman, invulnerable, and those things like. I don't know if I want to see Wonder Woman vulnerable. Does that not mean? Think about what they did in Justice League with her. She was the leader, not Batman. He's like, listen, you can lead this team way better than I ever could, right? They build her up to be the leader of the Justice League. She's who brought everybody back together. She's the only one that was able to stand up to Kal-El, your man Superman. And yet now they're like, oh no, let me just bring her back to, I don't know, man. I don't know if that necessarily worked for me.
The problem is we've seen this storyline before. We saw it in Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 2 when he didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore and he started losing his powers with Tobey Maguire. We've seen this storyline before. I liked how they did it though. I liked how they did it where I thought I love Spider-Man 2. One of my favorite comic movies of all time. But I thought it was weak that he just wanted something else, so he started losing those. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense in a comic book world. For hers, at least, it was a wish she made to get Steve Trevor back. So let's go to that real quick. In case you haven't seen the movie and you don't care, there's this rock, this artifact, right? And I got my Tootsie Roll thing right here. If you hold on the bottom of it, you make a wish, you get that thing. And I love at the game they were talking about it, and that one guy comes in that tech, he's like, I wish I had a coffee. Like he wasted his wish, right? And he gets a coffee or whatever. But you make a wish, you get what you want, but it comes with a price. And the stone does not really tell you what it takes, but it takes something valuable of yours. So for Wonder Woman, it was her powers. And for Barbara Minerva, it was her humanity, the good person that she was, her warmth. And I like that whole thing. For Pedro Pascal, for Max Lord, it was his health. I see what you're saying with her acting. John Campy had a great point. He said that she has to be with the stronger actors so it makes her look a little better. And Chris Pine does that very well. He said he thought that her scene with Chris Pine was her best acting because he's just that high level of an actor.
Right.
I will get to what bothered me, so I'm sorry for interrupting a little bit later for some things I did not like, but keep going. What else did you like?
I like the storyline. This is the second film I have seen, and I think that this year was the year of the storyline. All right, meaning those people who, for instance, my favorite film of the year thus far, and it's Tenet. A lot of people either loved it or hated it. A lot of complaint was, oh, the characters had there was no character development. There didn't need to be. Some people were like, they didn't even give John David Washington a name in that. He was just protagonist. It didn't matter. The story is what mattered here. Okay, the plot. I know a lot of people have forgotten about plot when you have films that are just all action and CGI. Give me some plot. And wasn't it so interesting the way they built that artifact, the stone, into all of mankind, where it was put there.
All the empires,
the Mayan civilization, the Roman civilization, exactly. And it actually gave us a understandable reason how the Mayan civilization became so great, how the Roman, Roman civilization or Roman Empire became so great. But they all fell. Why did they fall? Because again, be careful what you wish for. So I thought that the story was, to me, the strongest part of this film. Again, along with Pedro Pascal. That's what I love. There were a couple things. Now, I'm a huge DC fan. You and I both. I've read a lot of comic books, okay? A lot of comic books. I haven't read them all. Couple of liberties I think they took here. First and foremost, and we'll talk about that later, what I don't like, but I was so excited. I knew they were going to give me the invisible jet in this film, but I didn't. It was clever the way they did it, but that's not what it is
Was
in the
it
comic.
clever?
I thought it.
That was a Mary Sue moment. From your words, that's a Mary Sue moment. I tried it once with a coffee cup, and it worked okay. I mean, not even Luke Skywalker lifts up the X-Wing the first time he tried after Yoda said, hey, try it. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm sorry. I didn't want to step on your toes right there, but come on.
No. So I think the strongest thing of this film was the story. They wove it. It was very intelligent, the way they wove the story. Yeah, and to me, like I said, I don't think it deserves the hate it's getting. Here's the problem, man, and we're going to talk about this at the very end. I've walked away from this movie the same way I did with Spider-Man Far From Home. And I think the problem is, it's like Icarus, man. We flew too close to the sun. After Avengers Endgame, bro, it's like Eminem, so let's stop with the fables. I'm not going to be able to top what my name is. And we're expecting the next film how do you top Endgame, bro? You know what I mean, dude? Like, I think from now on, every comic book film, we're going to feel like it's a letdown, bro. You know what I mean? That's just a conversation for later.
We've been talking about comic book film fatigue, right? I don't see myself having it because I just love movies, as do you, so much. And I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me a lot of hate. But as horrible as the pandemic has been, there's nothing good about it. It's kind of the best thing that happened post-Endgame because it gave MCU a chance to take a break. It gave the MCU a chance to get like a rest. And we are so starving for MCU films that it's the best thing because even they knew they weren't going to follow up Endgame with another $2 billion, $3 billion stunner. Let's get to the things we didn't like. And I'm going to say right now, not my grade, but I'm going to say right now, overall, I was not a fan of this movie. Okay. The things I liked were the things that I liked. And I'm sure there's other small pockets, but there was a lot of things I did not like. And I always formulate my opinions before I listen to anybody else's opinions. I mentioned John Campea twice because I agree with those things that he had said. These are my honest opinions of what I did not like, but I think it's pretty common. Now, the Rotten Tomatoes score is fresh. So once again, the critics like it. I'm not sure if the fans are liking it so much, but this is what, okay, you talked about plot and story. I agree. The story was nice, original enough, and was interesting enough, but the dialogue was atrocious in so many different ways. This movie was messy, in my opinion, because the dialogue was so messy. And even Pedro Pascal and his greatness in acting, he personified the messiness of this film where he was just running around, not sure where to go. Okay, so a few examples of what I mean. First of all, let's talk about the invisible jet thing. Super lame. Super lame. I did it with a coffee cup once. Now, in the last second, I'm going to be able to have this entire jet go invisible, and I'm going to be able to sustain it the entire time. That's weak. All she had to say was something like, you know what? It took me a while to get that coffee cup, but I got distracted with something else, but I felt like I was starting to get it. Right. That's all they had to do. Another thing, the flying. I'm a huge Superman fan, so the flying did not bug me as much as it may bug other people, right? It was pretty cheesy, but it reminded me so much. It gave me this nostalgia so much of Christopher Reeve, the way she was flying, just like he was with the one arm and then the two arms and the one arm going upside down. That made me happy because it reminded me of Richard Donner's Superman film. But again, Mary Sue, she says that I never understood it. He gave her a basic lesson, and then all of a sudden, I get it. She's angry. She's frustrated, but all of a sudden she's able to do it. In the dialogue, all they had to do, so simple, is for her to say, I want to fly. I've been trying to learn how to fly, and I think I'm so close, but I don't understand the simplest basic principle of it. And then when he gives her the basic principles, I can see those meshing together, right? That's all they had to do. There was other parts of the dialogue. This is I am going to steal from John Campion when she's talking to Minerva at their little lunch, and she's like, "Oh, you're so wonderful, you're so warm, you're so personable." Like, you're just telling us this stuff, right? The dialogue was cheesy. My most hated scene in the entire movie was the Maul fight scene. Everything about it was it was bad. To your crooks who one guy looked like he was 70. The other guys, I'm sorry, they were all overweight and out of shape. One guy looked like he was Screech from Saved by the Bell. These guys are not formidable bank robbers or jewelry robbers who are smart to know about the black market dealings in the back. It was so weird. And the way the guy dropped the gun made no sense to me. I know I'm going to focus on a small, stupid thing, but he has the bag. They have a great plan. We separate. You guys get away. And he then wants to make sure his gun is in tow with his waist. It was stupid. And then he goes from that to holding a girl over like this is what my only choice. Even when his homie's like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, and then when she comes in, the wink to the little girl, the cheesiness, the lasso, she jumps in, right? She does all these amazing things, and then she takes out the cameras. Sorry, Gal Gadot, but the cameras already got you. Like, it already got you. Why not show the tiara go first where you can't see her, kill the cameras, and then have her come save the day? Or why not have that tiara go first before it gets too crazy so you know, oh, Wonder Woman's coming. This is awesome. And then it's small, stupid stuff, but it's that whole Maul scene really took me out of the movie. You had that cool opening theme on Themyscira. I thought that was cool. And they brought the same actress to play young Diana. I thought she did a great job. But mostly that scene was pointless besides a whole lot of eye candy, besides the idea of truth. Right. And that's what I think a lot of this film is. It's a 2.5-hour bloated film, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff that we did not need that could have been told to us in a shorter amount of time. And we didn't even have as many great moments as I wanted. That's some of my initial hate that I vented out for you, my friend.
All right. I agree with you in several aspects. First and foremost, again, I have not read every single comic book. It's impossible. I don't got that kind of time. I don't got that kind of money, to be real. All right. But last time I checked, Wonder Woman's invisible jet. Why do you need a jet if you can fly? All right. Wonder Woman can't fly. All right. Not to my knowledge, not in any comic book I read. Not to mention plot hole. Okay, if she knew how to fly in '84, did she forget?
She forgot.
Play like what? Why did they have to go there? I
gotta interrupt real quick. What happened on Infinity Wars? Right? Why is she up here the whole time? Why is she up here the whole time? You could have flown when you were fighting Doomsday and other things. Come on.
It just that I don't understand why they took. That was to me the liberty that they pushed too much. I could understand the invisible jet, although in the comic books and back in the day it was technology. Now it's okay, a power. It makes sense. Her dad is Zeus. He kept the island hidden, so if he could keep the whole island of Themyscira hidden, she should be powerful enough to do the jet. I didn't have a problem with that. I like I said, I thought it was clever the way they introduced it. Like, okay, where are they gonna get invisibility technology? So I'm good with that. But again, the flying, that just drove me absolutely crazy. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, I was so upset about it. Like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. We let that go. That's one of the things I hated in this film. Excuse me. Next thing I hated in this film, Cheetah. Cheetah is actually in the comic books one of her biggest foes, and she can actually cut through Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? Through like her nails are so sharp, she's able to injure Wonder Woman. So it made sense she had the armor on, but they expected everybody to know that. Why did she even need an armor to fight Cheetah? Like, if you know what I mean? Like,
the armor was pointless. Asteria's armor, it did nothing. She looked cool and she looked hot in it. It did absolutely nothing.
Well, I think that there must have been a rewrite, because what they should have explained somewhere is, or maybe where they started was they knew that Cheetah had this power in the comic books where she can actually injure Wonder Woman when she cuts with the claws. So let's put her in this cool armor, which will protect her from Cheetah's claws. But they forgot to explain to us that it's even though Wonder Woman is fully powered now, she can still be injured by Cheetah's claws.
Not just that, but why does it have wings when she already learned how to fly?
It would
have been cooler not to have her learn how to fly, but to use the wings and listen to what Trevor was saying to swoop in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. That just to me did not make sense. Did not make sense. I mean, dude, I'm thinking about some things, and I'm like,
okay, what about this? When she becomes Cheetah, and Max Lord says, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to give you a lot of wishes too. Did she ever talk about wanting to be a feline? She said apex predator. She said at the very last second to get that in there in the movie. He thinks cheetah automatically, and I'm going to make sure that she changes literally into a cheetah. You're right. They were fitting that cheetah in there. The cheetah aspect of Minerva, I did not like whatsoever. It was very weird. It was very weird.
Right. And and to your point, they gave us 13 seconds of Cheetah. Now, I liked her better without the cheetah. When she had the woman powers, she was just dressed up in that red. I think she did a better job then than as Cheetah with so much CGI. That was just my personal opinion. And I think that's one of the other things that I did not like about the movie. The Maul scene, you know what? To me, it didn't bother me as much because, again, I'm thinking 1980s, the Maul, the fight scene was horrible or whatever, but as I'm watching I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to just get us to understand how Wonder Woman was able to stay hidden. Because think about it, in modern day, they don't know about Wonder Woman, right? There's a couple clips here and there, but Bruce Wayne, the world's greatest detective, Batman, did not know who she was and had to do somebody would have known by this point.
But again, she's kicking cars out of the way in her outfit and nobody sees.
Exactly. There's some plot holes, man. Some plot holes there. And I'm like, I guess the last thing, they brought in the original Wonder Woman at the end for Linda Carter for a cameo, right? And apparently she's been out in the world all this time. She's like, I've been doing this a very long time. So she never was, defeated by man. Where's she been all this time? When Wonder Woman back in 1914 with Steve Trevor, because it was World War I, right? That one took place during World War I?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But where's she been all this time? She just stopped being an Amazonian? She stopped being a defender? She just, okay, they took my armor, all the women warriors or Amazons were able to go to Namaskara, so now I'm just going to live amongst men and not, you know what I mean? Like, why bring that in? Why introduce it if it just creates another plot hole? You're going to create a plot hole for a cameo? I don't get it. Now, you did notice, by the way, at the end that Cheetah had changed back. Did she actually reverse her wish, though? Because I don't remember her reversing her wish.
Nope. And that's one thing I liked, that they didn't have her do that, because she still should have those powers, because she never renounced it.
Yeah, she didn't renounce powers. So I'm like, okay. But I mean, those are my thoughts, man. And as far as what I hated on this film, I don't know.
Before we get a grade, let me just mention a few other nitpicky things, stupid things. Let me know if it bothers you or not at all. Okay, so there's certain things like when the guy's holding his bride-to-be or his bride over by that bridge, and then he gets knocked over and she falls, right? And she's going straight down to water. Diana's way of saving her is to lasso her up and to push her with momentum against the wall and onto the ground. Wouldn't she have been better served just to land in the water? And because that would have hurt. I mean, her head, it comes really close to that wall, and she just plops down. It's not like they hold her for a second and then drop her. She just takes her and just pendulum swings over there. I don't know why. That really bugged me. Another thing, when she saves the girl in the mall, she takes her, and then she goes down with her momentum on the lasso, and she just like bangs her into that little like horsey thing. Like that would kill your torso. Like, oh, internal bleeding or whatever. Like, for my point for saying those things are, my biggest complaint with this movie is I think I still like Patty Jenkins, the director. I'm more nervous now about the Star Wars film that she's going to do. And it has nothing to do with female director. It's just the fact that we've seen her do two nerdy films, right? One really good, one not a great landing. And this is the thing. They've had a year to polish this sucker since it was finished. Why wasn't there more polishing done? Why wasn't there more people in the edit room like, we don't need that, we don't need that, it takes them out. This flying scene, I get what we're trying to do. We're trying to do the Richard Donner thing, but it just doesn't work in any way. Like, it's almost like you're the creative director, you're the decision maker, and everyone around you saying this is a bad decision, don't do it, and saying no, I'm going with my gut and I'm going to stick. I have no idea if that's what she did. Maybe that was a studio decision. I have no idea. I will say a little bit of love though. I don't typically like callbacks. I don't typically like, referring to this or that, but there was some I liked. I liked the Quantum Leap aspects. I love Quantum Leap. I saw a lot of Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut or Richard Lester cut, whatever you want to call it. I saw a lot of that in this one because in Superman 2, he gives up his powers so that he can literally be with Lois Lane.
Right.
And then it ends up screwing him because someone who's as powerful as he and three of them, the Kryptonians, he has to fight them. So he gives up that life, just like she has to give up her love of Steve Trevor to get her powers back. So I liked those callbacks. There was a lot that I liked about it, but I just wish it was more polished. I do love the ending with Max Lord and his son. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was a good redemption for that character, but there's really no, as far as we know, accountability whatsoever for Max Lord. No accountability. And not just that, but let me ask you this question. When he renounces his wish,
right,
shouldn't everything he had done once he made that wish go back to the way it was before?
You would have thought.
Because I thought those were the rules they established beforehand. That if you renounce it, then you get what you lost. And what he lost was his health and all that kind of stuff, but he ruined a bunch of people's lives. Nothing went back. They had to have each person individually renounce their wish, like the girl that dropped dead and whatnot. Right. To me, that was kind of weird. And the other thing...
Well, I'll tell you why they did that.
Yeah.
Because his son still has the powers. His son, Max Lord's son, has powers. Remember when...
You want your greatness?
Yeah, I want your greatness. So that's going to be...
But even after he gave him powers, right? Is it like a sharing of powers? Did it clone the powers? Because Max Lord was still able to take people's wishes after that point.
Yeah, exactly. So his son has the powers. He just doesn't know it yet. And that way it could justify Cheetah still being Cheetah because she never renounced her powers. I know why they did that.
But she made that wish after Lord. So she lost to Cheetah, right? But she didn't lose her powers that she made because she didn't renounce it. But he renounced it. So I would think that everything would have gone back to the way it was beforehand.
You know what? That's I don't know. Maybe a plot hole, maybe a good question. That's very interesting.
I don't know. There was something else that just reminded me of that I wanted to bring up, and I can't think of it right. Oh, Kate, explain to me. Explain. I'm not a conspiracy person. I'm not a political guy or whatever. But explain to me why the Egyptian scene was in that film, besides it seems like a political jab at Trump's wall, right? I don't want to bring down this review. What was the point? He didn't get any. He got a security team that lasted like 3 seconds for that. What do they call that? With a whole bunch of cars and the leaders in there or whatever. Like that was a cool fight thing with the cars and the tanks.
The convoy, yeah.
The convoy. There was no point. There was no point of going to Egypt besides showing you if you put a wall up, here's all the issues that come because of it.
I didn't even think about that. I did not make that correlation. Here's the thing. Film directors have used film to, convey stories and make political statements throughout time. It happens. You know what I mean? You can't tell me that, and I mean, they call it liberal Hollywood for a reason, okay? Even though sometimes they're not so liberal, but just saying. So, I did not make that correlation. I'm glad you put it in there. I did think that that it was out of context. Not context, but it didn't fit the film. So
it made no sense. There's no point of going there. We didn't see the guy's picture on the magazine several times. Like he really wanted to go there. He got this superpower, and his first place he goes to is Egypt for the oil. And you're an idiot. I don't have any oil. Well, I'll take your security guard. That's the next best thing from the oil is the security guards?
Yeah, that was like, you didn't read. So possibly, you know what? That's very interesting. Maybe Patty Jenkins had something that she wanted to say, and maybe that's what it is. Obviously,
I don't know.
I gotta say, I feel this film could have been so much better. At the same token, I mean, we can just go with a grade. Do you want to go first? You want me to go
with a grade for all of our non-spoiler friends? No spoilers at this point. Gabe, what'd you think?
you know, I did not think it deserved the criticism that it's been getting, as harsh as it's been getting. I love Pedro Pascal's character. Again, when the villain is the best part of the film, that does cause a problem. You know what I mean? Because, you know, who's the superstar here? Gal Gadot. Not in this film. So, man, the best grade I could give it is a B minus, man. A B minus.
Wow.
And that falls short from the A plus I gave Wonder Woman. But, you know, I don't think it's a C or a D or anything like that. It's not horrible. It's just that, bro, I don't remember. Did we even review Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. We talked about that. Like, that was a letdown. Of course it was going to be. It was after Endgame. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking a lot of these comic book movies, unless they think outside of the box and do something different, they're going to have a tough time, because you just gave us one of the greatest films of all time in Avengers Endgame. Where do you go from here? And the same thing, I think at best, Spider-Man Far From Home is a B, solid B. You know, not even
Far From Home, in my opinion, is much better than this film. I'm giving this a C plus. I don't think it deserves, in my opinion, a B or an A. It's not even. There's only like, what is it, 7, 8, or 9 DCEU official films, and I'm not including Joker as a DCEU. And this isn't even the top 5. This isn't, okay? I like Man of Steel better than this one. I like Aquaman, of course. The original Wonder Woman, of course. I like Suicide Squad better than this one. I like Shazam better than this one. So, I mean, it's not even in the top 5 for the few they have. And this is DC's problem. And different directors, they have the same problem. They fail at entertaining us when they're not bringing us the strongest product. Far From Home, that at least entertained us. That at least made us crack up. We had great, likable characters. It was a fun ride, even though the villain was kind of weird and some things didn't make sense and it dragged on and this or that. But it was a lot of fun. This film, it gave me that great moment, thank goodness, but there wasn't a lot of fun to it. I will say, I did not like the last act in the first Wonder Woman film. I think the last act in this film was the best part of the entire movie. So I feel like they rectified that problem. But now we have the first act and maybe the first 2 acts that aren't as strong. So I'm giving it a C plus. I hope in my little rant right there, I didn't give away any spoilers. I don't think I did. Guys, let us know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about Wonder Woman 84. If you've not seen it yet, it is available on HBO Max. And I think if you're a subscriber that has HBO, you can watch it, and probably other ways you can watch it too. Or you can go to the theater. But with all that being said, until next time.
We know all things.